All right, guys, so I'm here with my buddy Eli Night. I'm down here training at his gym today. We just got finished rolling. And, one of the things that he does really well on his channel is show how jiu-jitsu works in sort of self-defense situations or fight situations, right? And we were talking about this thing where a lot of you guys have this thing about the gi, right? You don't like the gi, which I'm okay with. But at the same time, some of you guys will make claims where the gi is unrealistic or it doesn't have any purpose, no use. Or even some people I'll see say, sometimes people will say that jiu-jitsu doesn't work in a fight situation, right? Like it's all cooked up and it only works when you're actually rolling with another person. So we were kind of talking about this on the mat today, and he has a really cool story about using something that I guarantee you've learned in your very first week of jiu-jitsu, and it was about a guy using this in a situation against multiple attackers. So I'd let you take it away, brother.
Yeah, I've got like several stories about like different people using like the clothing and kind of imitative of the gi, and I've shown a lot of techniques too of how you can do that, but this was one of the best stories. It was a buddy of ours, his name, I'll leave his name out of it.
Sure. For my channel, he'll be a Bob.
Yeah. But anyway, he was out in it's like a restaurant, bar and grill kind of place, so, like an Applebee's or something, and it was out in Las Vegas. He was sitting at this table, him and a buddy of his buddy got up to go to the restroom. Three guys walked up being kind of, aggro, and it's something like, hey, you got us in trouble at the club earlier or whatever, had mistaken identity, or they were just wanting to start something, whatever. And he hears something behind him, and he thinks, is there a fourth guy? Is there more of these guys around here? He turns around, turns back, this guy here clocks him, knocks him off his bar stool or his chair, whatever it was. And these three guys kind of swarm him, and they're punching, stomping, kicking, everything, and one gets close enough, and he said, all I could remember is just like about 6 months of training in jiu-jitsu that I had. He looks up, the guy's got a polo kind of collar, and he said, all I can remember is just grab this collar, and he goes here, and he reaches in and grabs the guy's collar, pulls the guy down on top of him with the intention, not necessarily to choke at the time, but to use him as like a shield.
Right? So the guy can't hit him, yeah.
Yeah, because then the other two guys have to kind of work around it. So he's initially using it as a shield, but he was like feeling pretty good, so he starts working up in this collar and tightening it up. He says he feels the guy pass out and go limp, but he's not going to let go because he's got these other two guys to contend with. And when the next guy's kind of trying to get around him and everything, and then he gets close enough that he's able to reach up and kind of grab a handful of hair of this guy and smack his head against the table or the base of it or something. The other guy, kind of seeing that, we talked about there's strength in numbers, but the opposite's kind of true too. So he kind of decides to cut his losses and like get out of the situation and stack up.
We were talking about like you see this all the time. As I've talked about numerous times on the channel, right? Everybody's got a video now, so you see videos of fights all the time, and they're very repetitive when one person can actually fight, where they get into the situation, and once they realize that they've bitten off more than they can chew, a lot of times guys lose the heart to want to continue because it's not going to be an easy target. Because obviously, if these guys were secure in themselves, they probably wouldn't want to attack in a group like that.
And it's like a pack. It's like any other pack of animals, like you were mentioning. And packs tend to have alphas.
Yeah.
You put the alpha away, and now the other one's going to shrink back a little bit.
Now here's a question, because obviously with the gi on the cross collar choke that you guys have learned, right? It works fine. Yeah. Like I have a T-shirt. Would you be able to do the cross collar choke to a T-shirt?
Yeah, I hear that criticism. It's like, well, you can't do a lot of the gi stuff to some
regular clothing,
T-shirt or a tank top, because it's going to rip. Yeah. So it's not going to work. Well, let's look at this. Yeah. So like if you just have a T-shirt on, right? And let's say if we go here, and I want to do this kind of cross collar thing, yeah, it may rip if I go here just around the banded elastic collar like this here, but I have to kind of improvise a little bit. If though I'm going to pull this here, now look, I bunched this up here. Now I have this nice big wad. Now it has more of an imitative strip like that's more durable, almost like the collar of a gi. So it's it's not.
Well, let's do it real quick. Let's check it out. Yeah. So I'm curious. So let's say that like for some reason if I did end up on top here, whatever.
So here this way. So if I'm gonna go here, look, I'm gonna pull this up and get a nice big handle on this gi here like this. Now from this I can reach through like here, and then I can go in just like a standard kind of cross collar grip here. That's not gonna tear. I can't tear that whole thing. It's like pages of a book. I could tear 2-3 sheets. That's like 50 sheets put together.
Right. And this is one of the things we've been talking. Like this is it's funny because he's here in Kentucky, and he has a successful YouTube channel. So obviously, if you guys haven't watched it, check him out. Eli Night. Just put that in on YouTube. Eli Night BJJ. You'll find him.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You'll find him for sure up there doing some cool stuff. But when we come down there, we've been just talking shop the whole time. And one of the things that, again, like for me, talking about this stuff is, one of the best things you get from jiu-jitsu is not the exact specific techniques, because like we were talking, they exist in other martial arts.
Yeah.
Right? You were talking about some of the ones that you'd been exposed to.
And I'm sure you get a lot. It's like, That's not a jiu-jitsu technique. That's a catch wrestling technique.
Right, or that's from wrestling, that's from this, that, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all grappling.
Yes, yeah.
But it's the ability for you as you're training, you develop you stress inoculation. Yeah. You learn how to deal with stress so that if you're presented, I mean, there's no way that like you're going to probably practice that situation. Right. All right, 3 guys come up behind you at an Applebee's, like, you know what I mean? Like you can't plan for all the variables. Yeah. But if you get so used to being able to just think on the fly, being able to adjust to like whatever's there, that's one of the beauties of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, it's transferability into different contexts, and once you practice those techniques enough, that's going to come out, and you don't rise to the occasion. You default to the level of proficiency, right? I mean, so whatever your training is, you're going to kind of like you're going to import that into the situation, and you're going to have to take those other contexts, environmental factors, everything in.
So guys, if you don't already do so, check out his channel, Eli Night, BJJ
Night Jiu-Jitsu.
Night Jiu-Jitsu. So check that out. It's a cool channel. He's got a lot of cool jiu-jitsu, both if you want to train for like sports stuff and you want to do some different drills. He's got some good drill videos on there as well. He's also got a lot of good stuff blending the jiu-jitsu with a fight situation on there. So super cool stuff. And brother, thanks for having me out.
I appreciate you coming down, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's awesome.